Hi everybody, my name is Tankisho Khabile and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I have a very special guest. You should know him. If you don't know him, I'm concerned. His name is Pastor Paul Nyamuda. He's my pastor. He is a senior pastor and a co-founder of Go Christian Church. He studied psychology, industrial psychology, and he's an executive coach. He coaches leaders in corporate, CEOs, managers, and I have invited him today to come and share with us. And then the topic of today is discovering your purpose. Thank you, Pastor Paul, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Tankisho. It's such a privilege. I've seen your YouTube channel and I think you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So today we are talking about purpose, discovering purpose. Nice. How will you define purpose?
All right, very interesting. How would I define purpose? I think that purpose is specifically to do with being focused on what you were created for, doing what you were born to do. Your work in life is what you were born to do. Your job is what you're trained to do or what you are paid to do. Now, it's wonderful when you're actually paid to do what you were born to do. And when you live according to your purpose, it's amazing. It produces passion. It produces power. It produces focus.
Wow. Okay. And why is it important for someone to know their life purpose?
I think it's so crucial to know your life purpose because when God created you, He created you according to your purpose. See, God is a bit like an architect. You know, if you say to an architect, I want you to build me a building, that architect will ask you the question, what are you going to use it for? Is it a school building? Is it a hospital? Is it work offices? What is the purpose of the building? And based on the purpose, he or she then designs it accordingly. Okay? So God does the same thing. He thinks, this person, Tankisho, what's her purpose going to be? Then afterwards, he designed you according to that purpose. So if I now try to live out someone else's purpose, not my own, then I'm not doing what I was designed to do. And then I break. And literally, there are a lot of people in the world today breaking, falling apart, because they're not being used according to their purpose. If you use a vehicle, right? There's that nice vehicle of yours I see there. If you were to use it as a high jump mattress and people sort of, do pole vault and land on it, you'll damage your vehicle because that's not its purpose, right?
Okay. Awesome. And what is your purpose, Pastor Paul?
What is my purpose?
Yes, and can you also share the journey of discovering your purpose?
Okay, so my purpose in life is unlocking greatness. So typically when people speak to me and ask me, Paul, what do you do? It's a bit of a mouthful, and I don't typically start off with my profession. I don't say I'm qualified as this, qualified as that. I basically say to them, I'm passionate about unlocking greatness in individuals, in teams, and in organizations. And I think people are drawn to that because it's important to have a purpose that serves other people. If you say to someone, my purpose in life is I'm the best thing since sliced bread. People are like, so what? People want to know what's in it for me. Yeah. How's your purpose going to serve? If you just state a purpose, people can sometimes think that person is arrogant. So your purpose must always be linked to an area of service. And that's my area of service. What's been my journey? It's been a bit of a journey in terms of that. And I can explain to people in a while how you discover your purpose. But I think for me, it was about figuring out what I love to do and what energizes me. Wow. And when I settled in on that, it helped me to unlock greatness in other people. Specifically, the way that greatness is unlocked is leadership development. So what happened to me is in 1998, when I was studying my master's in psychology, my thesis was on leadership development. And what actually happened was I had a dream, and I believe that that dream was not a pizza dream. It was a dream from the Lord. And in the dream, there was a man who came from abroad. He was actually crossing an ocean. And he came to me and he handed me a very thick book in the dream. And the book was entitled Prophet of Leadership. Wow. And at that time, I received the book and I made a decision. I felt, you know what? I want something to be my thing. I want to be known for a particular thing. And that's when I made the decision that, you know what? It's going to be leadership. So my passion is unlocking leadership greatness in people.
Wow, awesome. So you have authored 35 books and you wrote a book, Read Dreaming. And then in your book, Read Dreaming, there is a chapter about managing purpose.
Okay.
Yes, and then you share 7 principles of managing purpose. Can you share some of the principles that you remember with us?
Which one do you want me to highlight? Because there are a number.
There's a number of them. Okay, so I want you to highlight this one. The first one that you mentioned in your book is destroy destiny thieves. You have to,
Yes.
yeah,
That's right.
yes.
Yeah. So it's important for us to understand that there's an enemy out there that wants to derail us from our purpose in life. All right. And there are many destiny thieves. And it's important to identify which ones are those for you. So some of those destiny thieves, for example, are what we call time bombs in your character. So there are a lot of character flaws that we might have, okay? But what happens is often they're time bombs. And when I talk about a time bomb, tick, tock, and then one day it explodes, okay? So people can't see those flaws right now, but it's a thief to your destiny. Why? Because at a certain point it's going to explode while you're in a place of great influence. And that's what the enemy often does. He waits until we're influencing lots of people, then many people will fall with us. Okay? That's an example of a destiny thief. Another major destiny thief is comparison.
Okay.
If you want to manage your purpose, you have to manage the comparisons you make with other people. My wife was actually speaking earlier on at a women's meeting on the whole concept of running your own race. The mistake we often make is we're always looking over the wall. What's
Sure.
so-and-so doing? And then I want to do what Tankisho is doing, and she
Sure.
wants to do what I'm doing. And that's a major destiny thief. So identify your destiny thieves and make sure you renounce them.
Okay.
That's an important element in managing your purpose.
I think the one that I love, one of the principles that I love is knowing yourself.
Yes.
And you also mentioned about understanding your negative and positive blind spots.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want me
Can
to
you
unpack
please-
that a little
yes,
bit?
share
Okay.
about that.
So firstly, generally speaking, when we talk about knowing yourself, that's to do with self-awareness. There's a guy called John Whitmore who once said, that which I'm aware of, I can control. That which I'm unaware of controls me. Awareness therefore empowers me. So if I'm aware of myself or know myself, it means I must know my strengths, but I must also know my weaknesses. I must also know the overuse of my strengths. For example, if I'm a goal-orientated person, people might say, sometimes you get obsessed with stuff. Sometimes you have blinkers. That's an overuse of my strength of goal orientation. If I'm a person who's full of empathy, some people might think, Paul, sometimes you have to learn to say no. Because sometimes I'm overly stretched because I'm thinking, my wife needs this, the kids need this. So the strength I have is empathy, but when I overuse it, I end up maybe lacking boundaries.
Sure.
Okay? So knowing yourself is knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing the overuse of your strengths. It's also knowing your attributes. I'm a quick learner. I'm passionate. I'm courageous. Those are my personal assets. No one can take them away from me.
Yeah.
Okay? Knowing yourself is also to do with knowing your desires, knowing your dream, knowing your vision.
Sure.
Right? Knowing what makes you sad, knowing what drains you, knowing what energizes you. You see, a lot of people are very strong when it comes to conventional time management, like at 8 o'clock I do this, 10 o'clock I do that. Few people are strong when it comes to inner time management. How do I feel when I'm doing it? What are the things that suck the life out of me? And when you now know that particular thing, you then do things at the right time of the day. I know some of the things that energize me. I know that if I give a phone call to my brother Will, I'm guaranteed a laugh. I know he will laugh at my jokes and I will laugh at his jokes.
Yeah.
That's just an example, right? They're things that energize me. If I go on a date with my wife, it may energize me because we have intimate conversation and I feel close and I feel I can take on the world, okay?
Yeah.
All that is to do with knowing self. Very, very important, okay?
Yes.
And there's something else you wanted me to unpack, blind spots. Blind spots, very important. So when we talk about positive blind spots, that's where you are unaware of your strengths. You think you're average, but the whole world is like, wow, Tankisho, you are so amazing, right? That's a positive blind spot. It actually is a hidden treasure. It's a strength you're unaware of. It's a hidden treasure. When you're unaware of your strengths, you end up often not using them. Often we're unaware of our strengths because we're so used to them. It's natural to us. So we don't think it's a strength, right? Until someone points it out. Negative blind spots, that's to do with what typically people call blind spots. It's where you think you are really amazing, but the whole world is looking at you and thinking, girl, you ain't all that. Okay? And there are a lot of people out there, I'm sure you've met a few in the workplace, that have got a lot of negative blind spots. They think they're better than they actually are. In fact, research has shown that men generally overestimate their abilities and women underestimate their abilities. So very often if you have a guy saying, I've got that, I can do that, take it with a pinch of salt. And when you've got a lady, the ladies out there will like this. When you've got a lady who says, I'm not too sure if I can do it, Paul, take that with a pinch of salt. She probably can. Okay. So, yeah, blind spots.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we need people around us, Tagisho, who will actually point out these things to us, in terms of our blind spots and so on. People who are honest with us.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then in your book, you also wrote about passion and energy as being the asset. How does passion link with purpose?
So it's really important to understand that you can have 5 different people with the same passion. So 5 of us can say we're passionate about young entrepreneurs being raised up, okay? But our purpose can be different. My purpose can be coaching those young entrepreneurs as an advisor, as a teacher, okay? But someone else who's more of a weaver in terms of their life roles, weavers link people up. So someone who's a weaver, their purpose with young entrepreneurs might be, you know what, I'm the one who connects them with funding, you see. And the mistake a lot of people tend to make is they don't link up their life role, that's purpose, okay, with their passion.
Wow.
So what they tend to do is they know, I'm passionate about raising up young entrepreneurs, but the only model they've seen is the model of teacher. So they decide, okay, we're going to do classes for these young entrepreneurs. I'm now going to be training them up. But the person can't speak. The person is not wired that way. They're not gifted that way to speak or to teach or to coach, you see. What they should rather do is to say, you know what, what's my purpose? Oh, I'm a weaver. Let me link these people up. Let me get someone else to do the coaching and training, you see.
Wow.
So when it comes to life roles, there are a number of them. There's some people who are equalizers. So they're strong on justice. Wherever they go, they're like, but it's not fair. How come these people don't have anything and these people have a lot? And then they equalize the situation. Some people are advisors. Some people are teachers. Teachers are those people where their purpose in life is basically to take complex things and make them simple for people to understand, you see. And they feel fulfilled when the light bulbs just turn on, when they're talking to someone and then they just see someone and someone is like, I never knew that, right? Advisors, those people who love advising, giving advice. They don't necessarily want to speak to crowds, but sometimes they're just giving advice one-on-one and so on. Always advising, always advising. They have to be careful what they do when someone doesn't take their advice. So with all these things in terms of our life purpose, we just need to manage it when it's not received. And here's the thing, you're not called to everyone. I'm not called to everyone. People say, Paul, do you like coaching? And I say, not for coaching's sake. I say to them, I like coaching good people who've come to a place of realizing, Paul, you know what, for me to go to the next level, I need other tools. And it's often in emotional intelligence and some of the softer skills. And then I help them go from good to great. Okay? Often when people come to me, you hear them saying, the people I coach, Paul, you know what, I've been successful in my career, but for me to go to the next level, I need other stuff. And then I help them with the other stuff. But other people, I've got a colleague of mine who's also a coach, and he would say to me, Paul, my approach is more remedial. I like people who are lost cause. I like the people where everyone has given up on that person. And then I like to help them. So we are different in those ways.
Sure.
Okay.
And then is purpose seasonal? Can it be seasonal?
Yes, it definitely can be. It definitely can be. Our life is lived in seasons, okay? And that's why Jesus said, you know what, guys? You need to understand the times and seasons, just like the sons of Issachar, okay? So you might find that you've got a broad purpose in life, and it might be discipling nations, but it will look different in different seasons of your life. I might have a broad purpose of unlocking greatness in people, right? But there's a way it manifests in the corporate world. There's a way it will manifest if I speak at an assembly, a high school assembly. There's a way it will manifest with my children in how I relate to them, with my wife in how I relate to her. So it's important to understand that when your purpose comes, often God will show it to you, and He might show you even the big picture. The next question to then ask is, what am I supposed to be doing next? You see, someone once said to me, wisdom is not just knowing what to do. Wisdom is knowing what to do next.
Wow.
And the mistake many people make is they figure out their life purpose and they're trying to do it all this year. You see?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to translate your dream in life, your vision for life, to translate it into goals. And then you've got a 90-day plan, right? But you've also got a 1-year plan. You've also got a 3-year plan. You've also got a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. And then to know, okay, this is for now, but then this is for the next 3 years. You see, timing is very crucial. Once you have a vision for your life, it's also important to just sit on it for a while. Not to go and blurt it out to the whole world, to sit on it for a while. Right? That's why if someone comes to me and says, Paul, this is what I want to do in life, a good question for me to ask them is, how long have you been sitting on it? Because if it's just 2 weeks, you probably need to sit on it a bit longer.
Sure.
Because it's easy for us to get all emotional and excited about certain things, saying, I'm now going to be the new mayor. That's what I want to be. Yes, because the key is in town planning and town development, and that's where the real change happens. But if you've only been thinking about that for 2 weeks, you need to just sit on it a bit more, because there's much more to being a mayor than just what you're saying.
Sure.
You see.
All right. And then maybe there is someone out there who knows their purpose, and then maybe they struggle with fear and discipline. What encouragement can you give that person?
I would say to them, take the first step. Often when someone feels overwhelmed, I like to actually say to them, have you done this before? And very often they'll say, I've been in a similar situation once. Because very often when we are growing up, we have glimpses of our life purpose. You see, often I'll speak to people and I'll say, what do you really love doing? And the thing they love doing, you won't find someone working in a bank suddenly saying, I think my life purpose is being a bean farmer. Very often their purpose is a subset of something they're already doing. So I might say to them, have you done elements of this before? And they'll say, yes. How did you feel when you were doing it? How did you cope last time? Well, I got good feedback from people. Okay, all right. So what do you think your first steps should be? Oh, I will do X. And your second step? I'll do Y. So you're breaking it up into bite-sized chunks. That's so important. We're overwhelmed by our purpose because often we see the bigness of it, like this big mountain. Just break it down into activities. And then also a key question is, whose help do you need to enlist? So that you focus on your relational assets around you. What are relational assets? That's your network. Oh, I can get Tankisho to help me with this. I can get Paul to help me with this. Then you're not feeling as overwhelmed. And I like to say to people, just get started. Just get started. And then you will see that, oh, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. And God loves that. It's easier for him to work with people who get started with what he's saying they must do. Very, very important.
Awesome. That was great. And Pastor Paul, where can people get your books? People need to get this book, Redream Me, and other books. You've written books in business, in marriage. You are also a marriage counselor. Where can people get your books?
Well, I think the easiest way for now is just get the e-books on Amazon. So you just search my name on Amazon and you'll see the different books there. And you should be able to get them. Some of them are in some of the major big bookstores like Exclusives and so on. Some of them, some of the titles,
And how do people connect with you?
PaulNyamuda.com will probably be the easiest, and also marriagecoach.co.za.
Thank you so much, Pastor Paul. It was great.
Awesome. Thank you.